game director for Dragon Age: The Veilguard has reportedly quit the company, and there is a rumor that EA plans to shut down BioWare's Edmonton studio. Roll this up over at phantompulse.com. You can find the link in the description below. Encourage you to head on over, become a paid subscriber. It costs less than a Starbucks coffee a month, just $5 a month, and you get all kinds of articles every single day covering video games, movies, television shows, comics, tabletop gaming, novels, etc. Phantom Pulse is the place for your pop culture news. So, former World of Warcraft team lead Mark Kern, a.k.a. Grums, shared an alleged email from the game director, a man who pretends to be a woman and calls himself Corrine Bush, despite his name being Andrew. In the email, which is undated, Bush informs BioWare staff that today is my last day at BioWare. After so much contemplation, I've decided to pursue a new challenge and a new project, doing what I love most, making RPGs. It wasn't an easy decision, as I mean it when I say I love BioWare, the Dragon Age team, and what we've all accomplished together. My time with all of you has been the highlight of my career. He then goes on and talks about giving thanks and everything like this, and then gives this advice. If I can leave you with any advice, it is this. We all know making games is hard. It's part of why we do it. But making games is also about the people and the reliance we have on one another. So take the time to celebrate the wins and lift each other up. The challenge and the work will always be there, but the moments we have with each other are precious and few. Unclear what wins that the team over at BioWare will be celebrating, aside from the fact that they shipped the game. As that seems to be a win now that many developers are talking about, whether or not the game is actually commercially successful. But on top of that, Grums also shared this over on X, because he's the one who shared the letter there, that email, that leaked email. And he says this: BioWare Edmonton, the Veilguard studio to be shuttered. The farewell email was shared with me, and I verified her leaving with Smash JT's contacts at EA BioWare. The rumor goes with this is that the Edmonton offices of BioWare will be shuttered in February, just before the EA town hall for investors and gamers. It's sad that after completely destroying the game with DEI, trans scars, and terrible characters and writing, that the game director responsible for it all bails and leaves everyone else holding the bag. These people often fail upwards through a woke studio system bent on promoting activists instead of great developers. Sad. So if we look at Smash JT's coverage over on YouTube, he said this: the studio is rumored to be closed as soon as February 2025, referring to BioWare Edmonton. He added, a follow-up email from my source within EA adds serious fuel to this ongoing fire. Correspondence from my inside source via their anonymous email stated, hey, Jeff, Corrine is indeed gone. The current rumor is that they will announce the closure of BioWare Edmonton sometime around February, just before the Electronic Arts Town Hall, basically when EA talks about what is going on for the last fiscal quarter and what's next. So let's hop over here. I wrote this article over up at That Park Place last year, and I didn't need to click that, when I was still working at That Park Place, and I covered this Q&A call that EA had. It was like, I forget what year it was their Q2 2025 earnings conference call that they had. An EA CEO, Andrew Wilson, was asked by a Raymond James financial group analyst, Andrew Merrick. I've seen some very strong reviews so far, referring to Veilguard, but as far as you can tell, what drives that kind of breakout success we've seen in some single-player fantasy games in the last couple of years, and how do you feel that Veilguard might compare along those lines? This is how Wilson responded. I certainly think Veilguard has breakout potential. So he thinks that it has a breakout potential. And now, just a couple of months later, not even 6 months later, right? I mean, this game came out at the end of October. So at the very end of October, so we're talking about November, December, we're just in January. So like 3 months, and we're not even at the end of January there. So we're talking about 3 months here. And there was rumors that they're shutting down BioWare Edmonton after this guy was saying that it had breakout potential. Obviously, it did not. Getting back over here, though, Bush's departure does come following longtime BioWare writer Sylvia Fekete leaving the company after 15 years. She announced her departure on Blue Sky, saying, hey, everyone, sorry I've been quiet on here. Was busy with a big decision, namely deciding to leave BioWare. I'll really miss working with everyone there. But after 15 years, it just feels like a good time for a break. So we were already seeing people kind of jump the ship earlier, or I guess back in December. So a month later, and now we're getting a report that Bush has left the company as well. So those are two high-level people leaving the company. Usually when you see that, it means people think that the company is not going to last, and so they're jumping off the boat. So I think that kind of bolsters this rumor here from this inside source at BioWare saying that the company's studio in Edmonton might get shut down. We also had reports late last year that this game did not sell well. Former games industry head Christopher Dring said on an episode of the GamesIndustry.biz microcast, Star Wars Outlaws was the 14th best-selling new game of the year, but number 45 overall. Dragon Age the Veilguard, which came out at the end of October, that was number 19 in the best-selling new game chart, but was number 68 overall. Again, that is for Europe. He's talking about the sales in Europe. So, and then that doesn't even include games like Pow World or Black Myth Wukong, where they didn't actually share their sales data. So it was actually further down the chart than what we're seeing here. That's how bad it did. Even Dring said this. It was Christmas, and in terms of AAA blockbuster, the traditional big blockbuster Christmas games, you had Call of Duty, which did well, and you had Dragon Age, which did not. So that is disappointing in that position. Dragon Age had the market to itself, and it couldn't find an audience. And that's really scary as we move into the following year. So even he was saying that Dragon Age the Veilguard did not do well. I think Smash JT, his inside source claims that the game has shipped around 1.5 million units. And we had a report that Star Wars Outlaws did 1 million units in its first month. But then Ubisoft did actually admit that sales for that game were soft and lower than what they expected. In fact, they had to adjust their quarterly earnings. They were initially predicting somewhere around 500 million euros, and I think it eventually came in somewhere around like 330 million. I don't have that number off in front of me right now, but I think it was kind of somewhere around there. It might have been less than that. So that's how poorly Star Wars Outlaws performed. And we're seeing in Europe, Dragon Age the Veilguard did even worse, like a lot worse, right? We're talking about 45 to 68. That's 13, what is that? 23 positions worse, right? That's really, really bad. And then we also have the Steam data here, right? It only hit a peak concurrent of 89,418 the Sunday after it released, so at the beginning of November. And you can see the 24-hour peak is just currently at 5,220. So not looking good at all on that front as well. And then we also had an actual question was posed to Bush by Eurogamer about the game's commercial success, and he absolutely dodged the question, saying, unfortunately, on the sales side, that's not something we can really discuss. But of course, as we know with Inquisition, that was a long burn to get to those total sales numbers. So I think that's kind of confirmation that the game did not sell well either. And it looks like the time has run out on a BioWare. EA will not tolerate failure after failure after failure. Obviously with Andromeda, Anthem, and now Dragon Age, the Veilguard. So it looks like this rumor is that the BioWare Edmonton studios will be shut down. So let me know what you guys make of this. Let me know in the comments below. Remember to always be charitable, especially to each other, and to always, always speak the truth. And remember, everything DEI turns to crap.